Ladies and gentlemen, Garrett Wang. Hello.
Hey, hi.
This is amazing. Yes, we've talked about him a lot. We've talked about him a lot on the show. And, of course, we've talked about the Delta Flyers, his podcast that he does with Robbie McNeil. And this season, you've got Terry and Armin on as well.
We do, yes. We alternated episodes with Terry and Armin co-hosting with us. So
It's been a fantastic journey. I didn't know about the Delta Flyers until, crazy enough, I heard you on Dominic's podcast on the Shuttle.
You didn't know until then?
I know.
What?
That's how I found
I
you.
am so shocked. Oh, my goodness.
Well, what has happened as a result is I have been absolutely addicted. Like, I'm listening to hours a day.
You're binging it right now.
I am binging you. Yes. That's exactly what's happening.
I'm being binged.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
We talked to you the other day. You said there's an episode hidden somewhere in around season 3, 4
Yeah,
where
I
you
think
had
so.
Robert Picardo.
Yeah.
Very special moment.
Very, very special. It was, it was just one of those things where Robbie and I just, in the very beginning of each episode, we kind of just, talk about random things like how's it going, whatever. And somehow Robbie got on this thing where he was asking about the special gift that was given to all the actors one year by production. And I said, I don't recall that gift being given to us, basically, like champagne or wine, whatever it was. And I was like, I don't remember that. And he says, no, I think it happened. I really think it did happen. I said, Robbie, your memory's horrible. I don't think you're right, So he said, let's call somebody. So I called Tim Russ. Tim didn't answer. It went to his voicemail. I tried Robert Beltran. Also went to his voicemail. And that's when Robbie, the fateful moment when Robbie said, why don't we try Bob? I'm sure Bob will answer. Bob Picardo. And sure enough, Bob answers on like the second ring. And he's like, hello, Robbie. And then Robbie's like, Bob, you're live on our podcast. We have a question to ask you to verify whether or not I'm correct in saying that production gave us this expensive bottle of wine, champagne, whatever it was. And Bob did corroborate it. He's like, yes, I do recall that happening. And so, the conversation went on. We're just, having a good time. But Bob was in the midst of exercising. He was on a mountain bike. So he was riding up on a trail, and he was just riding along. And then out of the blue, as he's talking to us, he eats it. He just the whole thing crashes. You hear him like make this sound. Like he's like, and then nothing. It's silent. And we're recording on Zoom, and I look at Robbie on the screen. I go, Robbie, I think you killed Bob Picardo like that. He pops back on maybe 30 seconds later. He's like, oh, well, I seem to have slipped on some dry leaves or something like that. I'm like, Bob, are you okay? Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? He goes, well, I seem to have an abrasion on my butt cheek. So he scratched up his butt cheek is what he did. And that was podcast gold. Like, who would have thought that this would ever happen?
That's the most amazing thing.
Bob is a little annoyed with us because every appearance that he did for the next 2 years after that event, people would come up to him and ask him, how's your butt cheek doing? So he wasn't too happy about that.
All right, we're going to see if we can find it. We'll follow up. We'll do a medical follow-up on that. I would like to share real quick, since we were painfully unaware of this amazing product you've had. You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, 2020, May of 2020.
So almost going on 5 years, almost 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And you guys went through all 7 seasons of Voyager, episode by episode.
Episode by episode, yeah.
And from what I'm gathering in just the little bit that I've had a chance to listen to here so far, you guys are rediscovering this yourselves.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Especially Robbie. Robbie didn't watch any of them. He was busy with his 3 kids, his wife at the time, and, being a dad and a husband. He had no free time, none at all. And plus, there was no one else in his household that was a sci-fi fan or into Star Trek. So they weren't into it, so he never really watched them. So for him, this was an eye-opener, and he's really happy that he finally did it. I've always had this idea to do a show like this for decades, to be honest. Ever since we ended the show, I thought it'd be really cool if I somehow, was able to do something where I record myself and talk about all the different episodes. And it wasn't until my partner kind of gave me that little push. She said, it's time, when the pandemic happened. She said, it's time. That idea you had, it's time to do it.
Let's do that.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And she said, I think you need a co-host, and that co-host should be Robbie. And I said, Robbie's too busy. He's always directing. There's never a chance for him to. And she looks at me, and she says, the world has stopped, right? I mean, this was basically March, end of March of 2020. Everything had shut down. She said, he's not busy now. And I said, you're right. He's not busy now. So I called Robbie up. Robbie was a little bit hesitant in the beginning. He said, I don't know if anyone would be interested in this. I said, have you been to a Star Trek convention? Of course they're going to be interested in this. Yeah, so I did convince him after a couple days, and he agreed to jump on, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Well, it's an amazing show.
Well,
I've really enjoyed listening to it. And in particular, because Voyager's always been a very, very special series to me, but I have also tried to stay current with you guys. So I'm also listening to Journey into the Wormhole.
Yes, great.
And that has been particularly fascinating, getting Armin and Terry's take as well.
Yes.
So it's been absolutely amazing. Guys, you really should check this out. You love Trek. You love all things Trek. We're talking about this boat full of Trek nerds. And we're we've been talking all week about the intimacy of this. And
yes.
Look who is sitting right here with us right now.
I'm here with all you guys.
Be sure to check them out. They're on Patreon. It is the Delta Flyers. And they've got several different levels of membership, just like we do. Griffin is a prophet for the Delta Flyers right now, and actually, you have brought some of your
we've got a couple of admirals and a prophet here as well. We have Holly.
We'll get you to bend down a little. Yeah,
Holly's got the cool jacket on from the episode Drive.
Very
I don't know where
nice.
you got that, but I'd like one of those. And then yes, and then of course we have Ian here. Ian is also an admiral, and Ian is famous for his YouTube channel, Star Wrecked, R-E-K-T, where he does Star Trek parody songs. They're amazing, and if you haven't checked that out, guys, this guy's a celebrity in his own right. He's absolutely amazing. And we have Janet, one of our prophet level patrons here, who is also amazing in her own right. She's a chef. She attends dog shows a lot with her pets, right? You have agility competitions. Wow. Yeah, she's doing all that. But they've been, agility competitions. Yes, sorry. Agility. Get that right, Garrett. So
I don't do beauty contests.
No, not beauty contest. But they've been a part of the Delta Flyers since pretty much the beginning, all of you, right? All three of you. And they're on the cruise, yeah. And in fact, there are several more Delta Flyer patrons, whether they're whatever level they are. They're all over the place. And we can tell by the shirts and the merch that people are wearing, like, hey, they're one of us. So it's been a lot of fun, for sure. And we have Megan. Come over here, Megan. Come on. Megan, this is my part. She does all the editing for at least half of the episodes. Not all. Sorry. Rebecca does half of it. She does the other half. And she does tons of customer service stuff. So this is a very important cog to the Delta Flyers right here. So, yes.
Guys, a lot like the way we produce content on a much better and more professional scale, the Delta Flyers having the absolute best insight into, and you did, it was 7 seasons, essentially.
7 seasons worth.
Voyager, we're already well into season 1. I think we're up to episode 12, 13 now?
DS9, yeah.
Of DS9, so very, very great, compelling stuff. I'd like to say a very special thank you for taking time to sit up.
Of course.
I know this ship, it's odd because like in normal cons, like you're on stage and then you get shuttled off. But here, this is very intimate. You were having dinner a little bit ago, and we had the chance to meet up the other day in the hall, got a picture.
We did.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
you are booked
man.
next year for Star Trek Cruise 8.
I will be here, yeah. Star Trek Cruise 8 next year. It's going to be the Voyager's 30th anniversary. Can you believe that? 30 years. It's unbelievable.
And you know what our audience doesn't know just yet, which JT just confirmed for me yesterday, is that Robert Beltran has now been confirmed.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Because he doesn't go to a lot of things.
Yeah,
so,
he has been confirmed, so he will be here next year as well with a lot of your cast to celebrate Voyager's 30 year. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Garrett Wang. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It's been wonderful. Thank you.